Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us for this month's Diplomat Diaries series. It's a series in which we invite and explore bilateral and global order with a dignitary, with a representative of a foreign government, with an ambassador or a high commissioner, as they look at their bilateral ties with India, but also at the changing global order. And in that series this month, we have His Excellency Lee Seong-ho with us, Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to India, who will, of course, be talking about India-Korea relationship, but also hopefully touch upon how the world, how the regional order is changing and how is Korea responding to some of those changes. So there is a lot to discuss given what has happened and given what is happening in the region and beyond. We will start with a brief introductory remarks by His Excellency before we open it up for you all to participate in the discussion and to engage with him in a conversation that not only allows us some insights into India-Korea relations, but also in how Korea is responding to the changing global order. So with that, let me invite Excellency for his introductory remarks, sir.
Good afternoon, distinguished scholars and colleagues. It is a great privilege to join you today to reflect on the foreign policy of Korea's new government and the future of the Korea-India Special Strategic Partnership. I'm particularly delighted to be with the distinguished WARE fellows here who bring depths of knowledge and critical perspective in understanding India's foreign policy. The relationship between Korea and India has grown remarkably over the decade and now stands at the intersection of the world's strategic transformation, offering new opportunities for strengthening bilateral relations and contributing to more resilient international order. Let me first outline the contour of Korea's new foreign policy priorities, and then I will turn to how, together with India, we can chart the next stage in our special strategic partnership. Korea has recently undergone a dramatic political transition. What matters most is that our people reaffirm their democratic will and usher in a new government. With this clear mandate of the Korean people, the Lee Jae-myung government was sworn in, marking an enduring milestone in the resilience of the Korean democracy. Korea has now regained functional and energetic governance, and I can say with confidence that Korea is back on the world stage. The new administration takes charge at a time when the global order is in flux. Geopolitical tensions are rising, crises are multiplying, and uncertainty has become a defining feature of our era. In such turbulent times, countries cannot afford rigid alignment. What we need is flexibility, the ability to balance competition and cooperation, to uphold principles while adapting to changes. Reflecting this, the Lee Jae-myung administration has set a guiding principle for foreign policy that is pragmatic diplomacy. At its core lies an unwavering commitment to national interest, ensuring policy continuity, pursuing strategic accomplishment, and seeking broad public and bipartisan support. This approach is neither ideological nor overly ambitious. Rather, it seeks to deliver meaningful outcomes through practical engagement with diverse partners. As a result, in just 3 months, Korea has pursued extensive global engagement, including with India. This pragmatism also shapes our approach to the Korean Peninsula. Peace and stability remain the cornerstone of our foreign policy. Our government is determined to move beyond cycles of confrontation and hostility. Instead of unification by absorption, we will seek a new chapter of peaceful coexistence and shared prosperity. We will work to restore dialogue between North and South, building trust through constructive engagement. The challenges are real. North Korea's nuclear and missile programs persist. But even here, we need to proceed step by step through a calibrated, a phased strategy that seek tangible progress rather than lofty but hollow declaration. Finally, let me stress that our diplomacy is outward-looking and inclusive. We seek not to close doors, but to open them wider, to deepen ties with partners across the Indo-Pacific. And in this regard, cooperation with India is not an option, but a necessity. The fact that our leaders had a bilateral meeting in Canada immediately after the inauguration of the new government is a signal. India will remain a central pillar of Korea's foreign policy going forward. Against this backdrop, our partnership with India has entered a phase of renewed dynamism. The bilateral summit in Canada was soon followed by a presidential special envoy's visit to New Delhi in July, warmly received by Prime Minister Modi. And shortly thereafter, our newly appointed foreign minister chose India as one of his first bilateral visits, leading to substantive discussions between two foreign ministers. Such early and frequent exchanges underscore priority that the new Korean government attach to deepening our special strategic partnership. As we mark the 10th anniversary of our partnership, this year we also look ahead with great ambition. As Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to India, I see this as a time not only to celebrate our achievement, but to lay the groundwork for the next 10 years and ultimately to elevate our relationship to a more comprehensive partnership. Please allow me to highlight 4 directions where opportunities are especially strong. First, we need to herald a second wave of Korean investment in India. The first wave was led by automobiles and electronics industries in which Korea became a household name across India. The second wave should broaden into shipbuilding, semiconductors, and MSMEs. Encouragingly, the momentum is already visible. HD Hyundai recently signed an MOU with India's Cochin Shipyard Limited in July. Two Korean semiconductor firms, Simtech and APEC, have announced major investment in India. At Semicon India 2025, the Korean pavilion was featured alongside those of Japan, Singapore, and Malaysia. Prime Minister Modi visited the exhibition in person and underlined his expectation for Korea's positive role in realizing Atmanirbhar Bharat and Viksit Bharat goals. Second, we must lay a stronger foundation for collaboration in strategic industries. Beyond commercial investment, there are sectors where the stakes are both national and global. Nuclear energy, space exploration, and defense. Each of these represents not only a frontier of technology, but also a frontier of strategic interest. India is rapidly expanding its civilian nuclear capacity, while Korea has accumulated valuable experience through projects such as the Baraka nuclear power plant in the UAE. In space, India's ISRO and Korea Aerospace Administration could cooperate on satellite development data sharing, and even deep space exploration. On defense, our partnership has already delivered results. The second phase of the K9 Howitzer project is a visible success. We can now expand the horizon to naval platforms, joint R&D in missile defense, and co-production of advanced systems. Third, we need to institutionalize high-level exchanges. Our cooperation has grown steadily, yet top-level political engagement has often lagged behind. This is beginning to change. Since the new government took office, nearly every month has seen a senior-level exchange. Now is the time to formalize this trend through regular engagement at each level, including the Joint Commission meeting and the 2+2 Foreign and Defense Vice Ministerial meeting. I am confident that this will provide the institutional backbone that a mature strategic partnership requires. Finally, our cooperation needs to be broadened to the regional and global stage. This, I believe, is the most crucial step. Our partnership must not be confined to bilateral interests. We should work together on economic security, maritime security, supply chains, climate action, and development cooperation. India today is a leading voice of the global South, having successfully hosted the Voice of the Global South Summit and spoken at the G7 and G20 on behalf of developing countries. Korea, for its part, brings valuable developmental experience and technological expertise. President Lee's government has declared its intention to deepen ties with the global South. Together, our complementarity provides an excellent basis for triangular cooperation, connecting Korean know-how with India's convening power and influence among the global South. These four directions, inclusive investment, strategic industry cooperation, institutionalized exchange, and expanded global cooperation, are the pathways to realizing the full promise of our partnership. The challenge now is to translate political goodwill into durable achievement that will endure for the next decade and beyond. As we look to the future of the Korea-India Special Strategic Partnership, one truth is clear. Its success cannot rest on governments alone. It requires the ideas, insights, and creativity of the scholarly community. So your role as member of the scholarly community becomes vital. Your perspective helps us look beyond the immediate horizon and ensure that our diplomacy remains not only practical but visionary. With your continued engagement and contribution, I'm confident that our partnership will not only benefit Korea and India, but also make a meaningful contribution to the region and to the world we share. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency, for I think you talked in detail about India-Korea partnership and how and certain pillars that you have in mind to build that partnership, the second phase of this very important relationship. But also, I think you touched upon some of the principles that are guiding the foreign policy approach of the new government in Korea, which is something that would be of great interest to people here. And as you can see, the interest is so much in this conversation that we have not been able to provide seats to all our participants. So first of all, we are very, very, very sorry that we have limited capacity here. But this also shows how popular Korea is and how the soft power of Korea is reigning supreme. So thank you for joining us, all of you, this afternoon, and our apologies. But on the substance, Ambassador, if Perhaps you can touch upon. You talked about the principles that are perhaps at the heart of the new government's approach to the world. But the world is also changing fairly rapidly, and some adjustments are being countries are having to make those adjustments almost in real time. And I think one of the most important relationships that both Korea and India share is with the U.S. And that relationship, both I think in both our cases, has undergone a change, a transformation, a shift of mindset, a change, an approach which is perhaps will take time to settle down in terms of what the new normal in that relationship is going to be. So, from Seoul's perspective, when you think of this churn in the Indo-Pacific, apart from the larger issue of how the balance of power is changing, this issue of the partnership with the US, how do you understand this at this particular point, and what are the expectations in Seoul from the Trump administration in terms of the partnership that you are trying to build, even as you are trying to engage the administration on a range of issues, which I think your Prime Minister's visit also underscored to Washington. So how do we evaluate that particular relationship, given the churn in the larger region?
As you can imagine, probably we can say our relationship with U.S. would be the backbone of our international relations overall. U.S. is the only treaty ally for Korea. So around 28,000 U.S. soldiers are based in Korea to defend the country against any possible aggression from Korea's enemy. And U.S. has been the two biggest economic partner for the last 7-8 decades. So a lot depends on this relationship. As the whole world is witnessing, everybody can easily say that things are changing in the U.S. I think the general sentiment probably would be same. The Korean general public feel these days. Having said that, though, we have this strong belief and confidence in this time-tested relationship. And there have been many ups and downs over the many decades. There have been many incidents involving U.S. soldiers in Korea, many political setbacks. But somehow, both Korea and U.S., we were able to smooth through everything, the difference between our two countries, and always come up with better solution for the future. So obviously, this is a challenging period for Korea also, vis-a-vis our relationship with the most important ally for Korea. But the visit of my president last month did go very well, and the leaders I expect to meet again in the UN in the upcoming APEC meetings. So whatever differences we may have over the tariff negotiation over the troops based in Korea. I am quite certain that we will iron out any differences so that this alliance and this collaborative partnership between Korea and US will endure in the years, decades to come.
So just following up on that, Ambassador, one of the I think strong suits of South Korean diplomacy had been for the for the last several decades had been balancing very well security partnership with the US and economic partnership with China. Do you think that model is becoming less sustainable under the present circumstances, or you are comfortable that you will be able to manage this, as the world transitions into a more competitive great power politics phase?
Um, Seemingly looks that way in many sense. No, obviously we, in some sense, we all live in the G2 world, and the two leading power in the world, their relationship can influence the rest of the world. And obviously, as you rightly mentioned, we have very strong ties with US. At the same time, we have tremendous economic interest relationship with China. Now, the, if there's any tension or there's any issue between these two big powers, it can be one way or the other can be felt by Korea. We are direct neighbor to China, and across the ocean, we are also direct neighbor to US. Like the rest of the world, including India, finding the right balance, keeping both very precious relationship under control is the key essence of how we conduct probably pragmatic diplomacy, how you conduct your multi-aligned diplomacy. That's the very essence of the diplomacy. I'm sure all the rest of the countries are assigned to carry out in a balanced manner in many ways.
So one of the things that is new to the policy conversations that we have been witnessing in the last few years is this idea of economic security and developing resilience or not relying on one country too much. Over, questions that were not asked a few years back are being asked today. And most countries find themselves, including India and South Korea, in this position where we are over reliant on one particular country. So whether it is trade over dependence, or rare earths over dependence, or even supply chain lack of resilience in supply chains, all of those questions are now part of this larger category of economic security. And you mentioned in your remarks about how economic security is one of the most important elements in how you want to think of India Korea relationship. So when Korea talks about economic security, what does it mean?
Our sense of economic interpretation of economic security shouldn't be much different from the thing India may want to talk about or the rest of the world may want to talk about. As we all know that we used to live in the world of super globalization since the conclusion of Doha round, no, not Doha round, the conclusion of WTO, and then since the 90s, and the access of China to WTO early 2000, we may call it the heyday of the globalization. Back then, the single most important principle for every people involved in politics or diplomacy or business is that the separation between politics and business. Business is business, politics is politics. Even though you have certain issues with certain countries, still your business can go ahead because your business is ruled by total liberalization of the world economy, and the rules were being written by WTO, and it was extremely difficult or virtually impossible to break that law, because if you break the law, you break the fundamental, you challenge the fundamental of globalization. And the champion of this super globalization was obviously, US. But things have changed, and this overdependence, globalization, all of a sudden become the weapon of many countries who want to uh, uh, give some harm to your neighbor. You touch on this overdependence or this interdependence. So recently we are watching this dramatic change in the landscape of international economic order. And now economic security becomes the central pillar of every country's diplomacy. It's obvious because this overdependence and the weaponization of this dependence, mutual dependence, has become the norm of these days, and no one is believing in any further the separation of politics from economics. Probably those countries who were the champion of WTO and international economic order, they are the ones who are breaking the rules now these days. So if the things have changed, and how now countries, individual countries uh, can carry out their normal business without being too much offended by this change in international economic landscape. So economic security has to be the center of every diplomacy, and that is how you can protect yourself from this overdependence when all of a sudden your partner try to uh, do some harm with this overdependence. That's the basic challenge we are having. Even 5 years back, 10 years back, the making the low cost is the fundamental principle every company is operated on. Now, so you were not worried about when these materials or these things can be supplied by your partners when you need them. So you need to cut cost, and you were very sensitive about lowering the cost. That has been the norm in the past. Nowadays, that has changed, and securing the supplies in the most secure manner is the number one priority, whether you have to pay higher price for that. So that is the sense of the conversation we are having when we talk about economic security, I think.
Master, one of the things you touched upon in your remarks as well was about India's India-Korea partnership beyond bilateral, regional, global, and we are living in times where the multilateral order is collapsing. We are not. We are looking when we look at multilateral institutions, they are not really working very well. There is less confidence today in their ability to function effectively and to provide solutions to contemporary challenges. Now, in response, perhaps, we have seen the rise of what are called the minilaterals, plurilateral. So there is Quad, there is BRICS, but there is also a lot of trilaterals. And India, Korea, US, India, Korea, Japan, we have been also trying to think through some of those arrangements and engage with some of those arrangements. How do you look at this rise of these minilaterals? And then what is can you elaborate a bit on what is happening with some of these engagements that Korea and India are part of, like with the US or with Japan?
I think the rise of mini-lateralism is very natural, I think, response to the challenges the world is facing. Since the rules-based international multilateralism is in shambles, and somehow countries need to work together to cope with these growing challenges, and you need find those who are willing, who share the same value with you. And this is the natural response to the challenges. And I think we don't know whether from this heyday of multilateralism to the, I don't know, in 20, 30 years' time, we live in a jungle. We never know what it would be like in 20, 30 years. But I don't think that will be the scenario we are going for, because the things, like-minded countries like India, like European Union, like Korea, like Japan, what we are trying to achieve from these challenges that we gather together, we put our minds, efforts together to stem this devastating effect, and then find alternative solution to the extent possible. That's probably, for now, is the emergence of unilateralism, uh, you know, trilateralism, regionalism. If this it cannot be pre-arranged or controlled by any single control power yet. But somehow, if at the end of the day, if you can find enough regionalism, enough minilateralism, and if you can find enough like-minded partners somewhere and somewhere, then we get together to find another alternative to stem any challenges from this changing world, I think.
What about our minilaterals, our trilaterals, India, US, Korea, India, US, Japan? Are they working? Are they moving ahead? What kind of an effort is being put into them?
Practically speaking, that was initiated under the previous US administration, and we haven't relaunched this trilateral under the new US administration. Obviously, we all witnessed that there are separate challenges India is facing with US, Korea is facing with US. For the time being, it might be a bit earlier, premature to say whether we can build further on the previous achievement or disconnect and start again. It's not easy to tell this at this stage, but I am certain that considering the nature of U.S. administration and the nature of our bilateral, trilateral partnership we have built together over the years, I am confident that we will rebuild this trilateral mechanism in a matter of months.
I want to open this up to the audience for their questions, comments, and observations. But I have one last question, Ambassador. You mentioned because for Korea, of course, Korean Peninsula is the first order of priority from a security perspective, and you mentioned peaceful coexistence with North Korea is a priority that the new administration is going to push forward. How worried are you about this engagement that we are seeing, global engagement from North Korean soldiers fighting in the Ukraine war, etc. I mean, is that a cause for worry because it sort of brings a lot of disparate countries and a kind of an alliance framework together, or is it something you feel that can be navigated through your bilateral outreach to the North Koreans?
Simply put, I think it's a worrying sign, but I don't think we should be worried too much about this new trend. In some sense, as much as North comes out of their total isolation, it can have positive effects in some sense.